Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Modern Mining. Today I've got some big plans for you guys. This rig right here is getting turned back on, and this full shelf will be up and running again. 24 GPUs, a bunch of miscellaneous solo miners and D-pin devices, salad rig there, 2 ASIC miners. Everything's going to be up and running. Definitely stay tuned for this month's profit video. I'm going to be doing a full calculation of how much money all of this is making every single day. But today, we are turning back on this bad boy, and let me explain why. Today's video is sponsored by EMCD.io, a top 10 Bitcoin mining pool. EMCD.io is an established mining pool that offers competitive fees for coins like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and even Caspa. EMCD.io has been around for a long time and has a vested interest in supporting the crypto mining community. EMCD.io frequently hosts webinars and completely free educational sessions that all pool members can tune into. Be sure to follow them on Twitter to stay up to date with these events. Recently, EMCD.io launched their new service, Complex. This is a hosting service that allows users to pay a flat fee to have EMCD.io run their miners and deal with all the headaches that comes along with it. Users can start earning coins within 48 hours of signing up. As always, do your own research before investing into cryptocurrency products and services, and thanks to EMCD.io for sponsoring this video. So, GPU mining is still sort of, you could say, in the dumps. It's not going to be profitable, but it's going to be slightly more profitable than it was, or how should I word that? It's going to be slightly less unprofitable than it was about a month ago. So Bitcoin has gone on a tear lately. It's 107 right now, but that was all the way up to like over 110K. We hit new all-time high about a few days ago. And that really got me thinking. There was a Benjamin Cohen tweet that I'll throw up on screen, but basically just saying that altcoins are the lowest they've been against Bitcoin in a long, long time, which his point in the tweet is that people who are waiting for altcoin season continue to lose, which that would technically be us with the coins that we've mined. But on the other side of that is we're at a low against Bitcoin right now. Sure seems to me like it would be a pretty good time to be acquiring some altcoins, and that's why I want to turn this rig back on. I'm getting about 70-ish ergo a month off of this rig, but that's really not that much. It's only like 60 or so dollars. I don't know the exact math. It's less than $100 a month. Whereas if I had both of these on, then I'm really starting to stack some serious altcoins with 24 GPUs, and it starts to be a little more enticing. So shortly we're going to get on the computer and decide, is this rig going to mine ergo, or am I going to branch out to another coin? Flux kind of has my eye, and I want to look at a few other ones. One thing you'll notice real quick is that this Salad rig is actually pulling a job right now, guys. Salad has a new customer, and a lot of cards that were not getting jobs are getting jobs right now, so that's a good sign. I really like the look of this rig right here, and it fits right there pretty nice as well. This one also has a job. This is the 3080 5900X, and then 48 gigs of RAM. This one has 32 gigs of RAM, by the way. And then also, this little rig right here is that customer build I was talking about a few videos ago. So this will be being sent to a customer, or actually they will be coming to pick it up sometime in the next month or so. I'll probably end up unplugging this when I'm done with all my testing and just keeping it in the basement for now so I can get my little area right here back. But this I did a full build video on, hoping it's my best yet. If you guys don't know, I'll link my playlist up in the top right, but by far, basically all of my subscribers and views have come from GPU mining rig build videos, and I consider them kind of my best videos, my magnum opus. So I'm hoping this is another very well performing video. I definitely go all out in those videos to try to make them as cool as possible. So you're getting a little sneak peek here. Doesn't look too different from all my other mining rig builds, but I did go with the ZSX, whatever you call that, breakout board, so that it only has this one PSU. And this right here is somehow a 2000 watt Dell PSU that can be ran on 120 volts. Obviously you can't use the full 2000 watts, but that's pretty crazy. I didn't know they actually made PSUs like that, so pretty cool. But all right, let's go ahead and start turning this thing on. When I rearranged these cards a few videos ago, I did turn this on and it connected just fine, so hopefully no issues again. And then let's figure out what we're gonna mine. Hell, I might even mine Zealous or something. I want it to be low power. That's kind of the big thing here. Quick power usage check before we turn it on. 2,700 watts, and 1,200 of that is coming from these two guys. About 1,000 or 1,100 from that 12 card rig. And then the rest would be from those salad rigs. This will probably pull another 1,000 watts when we turn that on. So, all right, let's plug it in. All right, these GPU mining rigs feel like an infinite content glitch for the channel. I just keep turning them off, turning them back on, turning them off. This time though, I think it will probably stay on for a while. And to be fair, this rig has been off for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months. So it has been a while. This should just be as easy as flipping the switch on this power supply, giving everything a once over, and it does look like everything is spinning. I will say it's kind of funny because during the winter I probably should have had this on to get that heat. This one is not spinning, but it's a different card than the other, so that might just be its fan curve. But now that it's summer, heat's coming back, I'm turning it back on and running more wattage. But honestly, my exhaust setup with this fan, temperature controlled, it turns on when it's 90 in here, turns off when it's 80, turns off and on a few different times a day. That keeps it so cool in here. Now that I have the windows removed from the garage to let in the fresh air, that heat is really not an issue. And I also insulated all my ceiling here, so I'm not pulling out fresh air. So heat is not an issue at all, which is why I don't mind turning this back on, because I really would like to get a lot more coins before the altcoins, if they ever do turn around again, because Bitcoin's been doing surprisingly well, better than I even thought it would. And it seems to me like some point, maybe not this year, but I'm gonna wanna have a big bag of altcoins that I was mining when things were real bad, because that's where the real money is made in crypto mining, especially GPU mining. All right, I think everything is working. I don't remember if I cleared this flight sheet or not, so it may very well be mining already. Let's see what our wattage got up to here. Definitely not mining because we're only up 200 watts. So I guess we can boot up the old hiveos PC over here and see if everything looks good. And then if it does, then we'll go upstairs and pick a coin. I did get some new monitors. This is a 1440p guy that I was able to bring home from work. Same with that one there. So I no longer, this one used to have like scratches and stuff on it. Should look a little bit nicer now. Sneak peek on a future video. I've got this bad boy to review, and I'm also getting a Dogecoin solo miner. So this and that Dogecoin miner will go up on the top. While we're waiting for this to boot, I'll show you guys my plan. I mentioned a few times that I want a shelf like this to be 2 shelves. So what I'm planning on doing is building the other shelf directly over the Aether edge. That seems like it would be enough room. And then also this board, stuff could sit behind it, so you'd still have a decent amount of room there. And I'm probably just going to put a little block right here, a little block right there, and then just set a whole shelf board on top of those 4 blocks. And then this will be, instead of a 4 shelf, it will be a 5 shelf, with these top 2 just being for smaller devices and stuff like that. Now, while I'm on that topic, one other thing that I need to do, and maybe not in this video, but I've got a lot of power strips kind of chained together, which is definitely not good in terms of safety, but all of these devices are very low power, which is the only reason I've done it. But I've got this power strip that is almost maxed out with all these little devices chained to, I believe, that power strip, chained to, I believe, that power strip, which again, all this stuff is low wattage, but I need to put a power meter on these and see where exactly I'm at. These are all high quality power strips too. They can easily handle like the 1500 watts that a outlet should have. But I might want to run a 15 amp plug over here so I can just have a fresh plug for all of these. I would just need to run it to my circuit panel, maybe up and over and down. That would be for a whole nother video, but that's something I've been thinking about as I get more and more of these tiny devices that pull a decent amount of power. All right, the gamble rig is up and running. All 11 GPUs showed up. Looks like it's all 3070s besides 3 3060 Ti's, so not too shabby. Let's go upstairs and pick which coin we want to mine. All right, guys, so let's pick a coin here. What do we want to mine on the 12 card gamble rig? Like I mentioned, I'd prefer for it to be low power. It doesn't have to be, but ideally under 130 watts a card would be nice, just so I don't pay as much power cost every month. So let's take a look at the 3070 here. What is up on the profitability list? This is saying that Quai is profitable. I bet once you get everything dialed in, it's probably not. And that's also Kapow, so 150 watts per card. So I don't really want to do that, though. Quai price movement has been looking pretty good. So that could be a decent option for people who don't really mind their power cost too much. Now, I'm specifically looking at more of a Dynex, Ergo is what I'm mining right now, Zealous, maybe Nexa, or Flux. But before we dig into these a little deeper and see what their difficulties look like and their yield, I did want to shout out Seb made a great video just a day ago, basically calling out different GPU mineable coins and what their profit per day would be if they went back to the last cycle's sustained high. So this is honestly a great idea on how to look at these coins. So I've been mining Ergo, and if Ergo went back to its all-time high from last cycle, then it would basically be like I was getting $50 per day profit, and I believe this chart is per GPU. Don't quote me on that part, but still, it gives you a good reference of what coins may be better than others. And in his list, Beam is actually the peak. And I don't know anything about Beam, but I did just see it on this list right here, and it looks like it's only 124 watts. Let's look up Beam here because you guys are probably going to laugh, but I seriously have never looked into Beam at all. How big of a coin is this here? So 1862, how does that compare to like Nexa, just for something for reference? So Nexa is actually a slightly bigger coin than Beam. So not an issue. The smaller the coin, then the higher price potential, but obviously the higher risk as well. And you can see why if Beam were to go back to this $4 price range from the 3 cents it's at now, yeah, that's going to be a pretty big difference. Let's look at the last year. It did go all the way up to 9 cents just within the last year, which would be a 3x from where it's at now, which if we calculate what that means in terms of mining, so we're mining 27-cent revenue. We're losing 5 cents in profit. So that means that we're spending 32 cents a day in power. So if Beam were to go back to just the high from the last year, 9 cents, then we'd be mining about 75 cents and profiting about 40 cents per card. Or with our 24 GPUs, that would be like $8 a day. So that would be very, very nice. So what I think I'm going to do is let's look at the yield of Beam, but honestly, I think I'm going to go for Beam here, guys. And I'm probably just going to mine it straight to Trade Ogre until I have any significant amount, and then I might look into getting a Beam wallet. But honestly, even if I've got less than $200 of it, I'm just going to keep it on Trade Ogre for ease of tax purposes and all of that. So to look at it a little bit more, we need to go to the coins thing right here and then type in Beam. And we want to go to, we can look at this first. So yield is basically flat over the past month. You're yielding 3% more. The price is down 43% over the last 6 months. It's not ideal, but flat for the last year. And then if we go to hash rate and or difficulty. So it looks like in terms of difficulty, we're basically at the lowest we've ever been. So 10.17. And even 2 years ago, we were at 15. Maybe we got down to like 9 at one point, but not a bad time to mine Beam. Let's just honestly ask ChatGPT to give us a quick summary slash rundown of what Beam is. Maybe I can be a little more informed for you guys. Privacy focused cryptocurrency launched in 2019, so it has been around for a while. So it sounds like it is a privacy chain, utilizes Mimble-Wimble protocol. Emission schedule has a cap supply of 262 million coins. Block reward is at 80. Having over time, current block reward is 25. How does that math work out? 80, 40, 25. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and just do Beam. I'm going to have to find overclocks and everything, but that'll be a good kind of tutorial for you guys. So let's go to mining pool stats now, and let's see what pool we want to mine to for Beam. 2Miners has essentially all of the hash rate, and then Hero Miners has a little bit else. I'm going to go with 2Miners just because I've actually been mining my ergo to 2Miners and maybe seeing a little bit better performance than Hero Miners. I forgot to show this. This is my performance on ergo over the last 30 days. Mainly just look at the last 7 days because my rig was off for like 5 days and I didn't realize it. So about $60 a month and about 60-ish ergo, which I think in my last video I had 66 ergo in a month. So that is fine, and I'm going to leave that miner on ergo for now. We'll just switch the new one over to Beam. So, all right, let's do 2Miners. So we need to create a new flight sheet here. So we will type in Beam as the coin. For the wallet, we're going to need to add a wallet, and then we're going to need to go to Trade Ogre to actually create a wallet. So let me do that real quick. Okay, we've got our Beam deposit address on Trade Ogre. Guys, you're not technically supposed to mine to exchanges, and it is definitely riskier than mining to your own wallet. I just do it for ease of use, and as long as you're only getting one payout or less a day, I've really never had any issue. But again, it's not technically, you're not supposed to do that, so keep that in mind. So we'll name this Beam Trade Ogre, save as a global wallet, create, and then for pool, we'll do 2Miners, and we will select US. And then the miner. Interesting. I got to figure out which miner to run for Beam. All right. For some reason, I had to refresh the page. LOL miner wasn't showing up. Wasted a whole lot of time researching what miner to use. But there we go. So we'll do Beam, Trade Ogre, 2Miners as our flight sheet name. We'll hit Create Flight Sheet. I did find a video with some overclock. So these are at least a good kind of starting point. 1300 and then 2400. Let's see, what is that? Offset. Definitely not going to do that high. So that is very similar to like Kapow, or let's see what hashrate NO says in terms of overclock settings. That's always at least a good starting point. So Beam, core clock offset 100, memory clock offset 1500. So very similar. Let's see. We'll just try to see if we can beat this efficiency number here. So let's go ahead and just set that in here. I've been switching more to in here than instead of the flight sheet because it just seems like the flight sheet doesn't work a lot of the time. So that's just what I've been doing, and it's been working a little bit better. Okay, so let's try this. If we get crashes, it's because our memory clock offset is too high for at least one of the cards in the rig, and I've set the power limit to 130. Let's try that. We'll go ahead and put in our flight sheet. If you hit the rocket ship here, it will apply that, and then we'll see if that starts mining. But I want to dig into maybe some of my I want to dig into maybe my Quay flight sheet here because this has some similar overclocks that might be a little more efficient. So we'll test these two. So this is doing core clock 200, memory clock offset 1100. So we'll try that. We'll get the efficiency of both and compare them because I'm really going for max efficiency here. It's very weird seeing the hash instead of mega hash, kilohash. I've never minded an algorithm that was just hash. That's funny. Okay, well, good thing we put that power limit in because we are straight at the max power limit of 130. And our cards are definitely starting to ramp up in fan speed. That's to be expected with kind of a high heat algorithm like this. We'll refresh a couple more times until our hash rate is stable, and then we'll get our efficiency calculations. So the efficiency to beat is 0.29 solutions per watt, which would be 35.6 sols at 124 watts. So we're not at the 35 yet. It's saying sols where ours is hashes, but I believe it's the same thing. Okay, we have stabilized, so let's do 417.2 divided by 1732 watts is 0.24 hash per watt, which is less than the 0.29 sol per watt, which definitely means that this says we're losing 5 cents, but we're definitely losing more than that right now because our efficiency is significantly worse, like 20% worse than what that's saying. I'm just going to keep messing with this, guys, and I'll let you know what I land on. All right, guys, and this is about what I ended up with. It's definitely nothing too crazy. 367 hashes divided by 1440 watts is about 0.255, which is about 10% better than we were down here. So not terrible. We made a little bit of improvements, but the biggest thing is we dropped 300 watts, which is going to help on that power bill at the end of each month. What I did here was I dropped the core. I didn't do an offset. I just locked the core at 1150. I got rid of the power limit because some cards needed to go over that 110 limit I had set. Some are all the way down at 95. It just depends on the silicon lottery there. And then I have the memory set at 1700. I'm sure you could still play with this a little bit, but this is pretty good for now. And I'm just going to let this go ahead and mine. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've got a lot of videos coming on the way, and check out this video on your way out. Peace.